Hello there, good evening indeed, and many thanks for joining us this evening on Rwanda Television News. Here is what makes our top stories tonight. President Paul Kagame on Monday officially launched the Ireme Invest Fund to support green investment for private sector investors. The fund started with $104 million. On Monday, a Democratic Republic of Congo, a fighter jet has been reported to violate Rwandan airspace, an act the Rwandan government called provocative. A very good evening to you and welcome to Rwanda Television News. My name is Sam Kalisa, and as we kick it off tonight, President Paul Kagame on Monday officially launched the Ireme Invest Fund to support green investment for private sector investors. The fund started with $104 million. The head of state opened the fund on Monday while addressing participants of the Terracotta Action Forum held in Egypt on the sidelines of the International Conference on Climate Change, COP27. We have the report. The event to launch this fund was held in Egypt at the United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP27. President Paul Kagame thanked various partners who supported the initiation of this fund.
The launch of Ireme Invest is a significant milestone for Rwanda. Climate adaptation requires big changes in how we produce and consume energy. How we move around, all that depends on climate adaptation and changes. What we eat and how it's grown, all that come together. In short, the entire economy is affected, which means the private sector has a tremendous role to play. Ireme Invest embodies Rwanda's commitment to achieving tangible results toward a green economy through public-private partnerships in key areas. I commend the Development Bank of Rwanda for the seed capital it has invested in this fund, building on the solid track record of the Rwandan Green Fund for NERWA. I very much appreciate the partnership institutions without which all that is being done by Rwanda and its institutions would not go very far. These partners have contributed to the first round of capitalization, bringing the total to more than $100 million, as we have just been told a few minutes ago. Let me just mention these partners: the governments of France, Sweden, the United Kingdom, as well as the European Investment Bank, and last but definitely not least, the Green Climate Partnership Fund. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, whether the progress made during the official negotiations at this COP is big or small, there are still many tools available to us to get things done on the ground. That is really the key point we are driving home with the launch of Ireme Invest and with the Green Public-Private Partnership, more generally. So I can't thank you enough, all of you who are here and those who have contributed to this fund, and we look forward to continued strong partnership.
President Paul Kagame also expressed confidence that the discussions being held at the ongoing COP27 leads to solutions to the climate change problems. The head of state made the remarks on Monday while addressing the participants of the Terra Action Forum held in Egypt on the sidelines of the International Conference on Climate Change, COP27. The conference, which was launched by King Charles III of England, private sector accelerate activities leading to sustainable development. President Paul Kagame, who is also the chair in office of the Commonwealth, praised what has been done through this forum, recalling that at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting that was held in Kigali in June this year, the Terracotta Action Forum was approved as a blueprint in making markets sustainable for the future.
I'm very pleased to see several of our Commonwealth leaders here. I hope that we will make it a habit to gather informally like this as the Commonwealth on the sidelines of major international gatherings such as COP. As you know, the last Commonwealth Heads of State and Government meeting in Kigali, leaders recognized the Terracotta as a blueprint for public-private collaboration in making markets sustainable for the future. And it is fortunate that His Majesty King Charles has indicated that the important work of the Sustainable Markets Initiative shall continue as before. Public-private partnerships are the core of any effective response to the climate emergency. The official negotiations at COP opened the door to new business models, economic incentives, and scientific innovations. But ultimately, it is companies and consumers interacting with each other which will translate the commitments into practical reality. So I strongly commend the work that is being done through the Terracotta Action Forum, as evidenced by the broad range of CEOs and other business leaders participating here.
Other dignitaries who attended the conference include Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley, Bahamas Prime Minister Philip Davis, and Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland. President Paul Kagame arrived in Egypt on Sunday, where he attended the COP27 conference that is being held in Sharm el-Sheikh. In this conference, Rwanda will show the world the direction and plan the country has in terms of reducing carbon emissions and dealing with the effects of climate change. As we move ahead to other matters, on Monday, a Democratic Republic of Congo, a fighter jet, has been reported to violate Rwandan airspace, an act the Rwandan government called provocative. In a statement, a Sukhoi 25 fighter jet from the Democratic Republic of Congo violated Rwandan airspace at 11:20 this morning and briefly touched down at Rubavu Airport in Western Province. No military action was taken by Rwanda in response, and the jet returned to DRC. Rwandan authorities have protested this provocation of the DRC government, who acknowledged the incident. And we'll move ahead to other matters related to the region at large. During the East African Magistrates and Judges Association conference held in Kigali on Monday, judges and magistrates were urged to build a public trust and enhance the use of technology in their activities, and in order to deliver approximately their services. Participants of this conference points out that it is a good opportunity to share experiences as well as expertise. Olive Nete has more.
Judges, magistrates, registrars, and other various employees of the court from various countries that are members of the East African community held discussions that reiterated on various topics, such as evaluating the importance of various agreements to facilitate the adjudication of various emerging cross-border issues, but also reviewing the current capacity and efficiency of these courts in judging issues such as crimes related to business transactions that are done through the use of technology, crimes committed in relations between countries, and other various issues. In this conference, the gender policy, which concerns the courts of member countries of EAC, was also officially launched. This policy was adopted virtually in 2021. Protas Sayende, the president of the International Commission of Jurists, Kenya chapter, noted some of the importance of this policy.
Gender equality entails equal visibility, empowerment, and participation of both sexes and aims to promote the full participation of women and men in the judiciary. It means accepting and valuing the differences between women and men equally and their diverse societal roles. Therefore, it is paramount that we discuss strategies geared to push the envelope and change the structures in the judiciaries which contribute to maintaining the unequal power relationships between women and men.
Sophia Wambura, the president of the East African Magistrates and Judges Association, pointed out that there is need to exchange working programs between countries of the EAC to strengthen the cooperation between these countries.
It is not enough for judges to work together at the East African Court of Justice alone. I'm sure my colleagues would not mind having an exchange program whereby they can come to sit as judges in here in Rwanda, and judges from Rwanda can go sit in Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, and the like, for the purposes of exchanging and sharing experience and best practices.
The Chief Justice of Rwanda, Dr. Faustin Ziryayo, urged judges and magistrates to build public trust and to enhance the use of technology in delivering justice. This point was also emphasized by the Chief Justice of the United Republic of Tanzania, Professor Ibrahim Juma.
Considering today's complex and rapidly changing environment, where the people's expectations for quality justice are high, our respective governments have been working to transform and modernize justice system by implementing procedural reforms, integrating technology, and realigning judicial financial models with the ultimate goal of improving efficiency in the administration of justice. The COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated those plans, while especially underscoring greater need to leverage technology to improve service delivery in the judiciary, but also in other justice institutions.
We all know that we are operating in 21st century. It's a very, very competitive century, which relies more on technology than any other method. I think this is an area which has been a theme in most of the conferences I've been attending for the past 3 years. Technology. How do we take advantage of technology to facilitate access to justice? It has a lot to offer in terms of efficiency, accessibility, accountability, and supervision. I think we should all take advantage of that.
The 19th East African Judges and Magistrates Association Conference will be held in Kigali for 4 days. It is the third time that Rwanda hosts this conference. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Parliamentarians have expressed the need for strict measures to prosecute those found of misusing public funds. This was said on Thursday as MPs received the report of the Public Accounts Committee on the analysis of the Auditor General's report 2020-2021. Prince Banzi.
The Public Accounts Committee states that the Auditor General report demonstrates that there are some institutions that brought loss to the government. How did they find out about these 2 million and above without having proofs? I know those that I owe money because I know them, I know their number. And here, what proof do they have? This assessment demonstrates that the government is requested to pay almost 3 million without verification of the creditors in 27 sectors. The government is also to be paid almost 3 billion in 14 sectors without verification of debtors. The parliament took the decision of requesting the Prime Minister to demonstrate the plan of gaining profit from unused buildings across the country, especially the Rwanda Agricultural Board, infrastructures, and other institutions and guest houses in different districts. The request to the Prime Minister to demonstrate to the Deputy Chamber in the Rwandan Parliament the plan of generating profits from unused houses, especially Rwanda Agricultural Board houses and other institutions and guest houses in different districts, and this must be done in 6 months. The second thing is to demonstrate to the Deputy Chamber in the Rwandan Parliament the measurements of solving issues found in the contract of the Wasa Corporation and the partner in working on the Kanzenze water treatment plan, as the government is in loss resulting from paying the debt it has for this stakeholder, and this should be done in less than 6 months. This 2020-2021 report demonstrates that the projects delayed and their value reduced to 11 projects worth at least 100 billion Rwandan francs compared to year 2019-2020, where the delayed projects were 62, worth 216 billion 107 million 478,986 Rwandan francs. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you very much, Prince. And as we move ahead, experts and decision makers in the aviation sector from different African countries expressed the view that the development of the sector is vital to the establishment and the implementation of a common market on the continent. This was brought up on Thursday during discussions at the 25th African Indian Ocean Planning and Implementation Group meeting. Betty Motoni brings us more.
To adhere.
Improving service delivery in the aviation sector, opening up airspaces by the African countries and the safety of passengers were highlighted as important factors to the development of aviation sector, as explained by the Director of Air Navigation Services, Estash Karijire.
Safety for the aviation is very important because without safety, so the sky will not be safe. The airport also will have so many problems which will not allow the aircraft to be comfortable with passengers to land safely. So there is a requirement, there is a standard, there is a minimum safety which air service providers and airport management should do comply with. So the minimum safety standard, they are well known, and Africa has to comply with it.
The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Infrastructure, Fidel Abimana, stressed that aviation sector is still facing different challenges that hinder its development, but Africa is doing all the way possible to find the solutions to these hindrances.
In Africa, we have been striving to improve safety performance through aviation infrastructure development, effective safety oversight and safety management. However, we can still witness certain gaps in air navigation. In some regions of our continent, air transport is facing disruptions, restrictions, especially in those countries with conflict zones. This meeting is expected to discuss matters of efficiency, safety, capacity, and environmentally friendly air navigation, and should ensure that these become a reality.
This 5-day gathering that started on Monday is being held after 2 years without meeting due to the outbreak of COVID-19 that left a gap in this industry that should be closed by the collaboration of the governments of all African countries.
So lowering the cost of air transport, make transport affordable, facilitate the movements of people, which we want, facilitate business and so forth.
Approximately 300 delegates from African states, ICAO, African Civil Aviation bodies, and the aviation sector attended the 5-day meeting that started on Monday. Betty Mutoni, RwandaTV News.
Beginning December this year, the Rwanda Land Management and Use Authority will start providing land documents online via the Irembo platform, as most of other government services are provided. Prince Manzi with more.
In the Gikondo Expo ground, some of the citizens from across the Kigali city are looking for land services because the Rwanda authority staff are there for 7 days long. Some of the citizens say that they have been waiting for so long to be served. We used to spend hours waiting at the sector office and don't get served at all. That's a loss for a citizen because when you stop working for some time, it affects your development. It's been 2 years, and the issue is that the land is not written on us, and yet it is ours. The city of Kigali states that delaying of these services is due to the COVID-19 pandemic and lack of enough employees. In order to solve this issue, the Rwanda Land Authority states that in December this year, it will commence providing the land documents online via Irembo. The head of Land Administration Department at the Rwanda Land Management and Use Authority, Marie-Grace Nishimwe, states that this will help in keeping safe these documents. Usually when a citizen asks for a service, we give him a paper that he takes home, and they sometimes lose it. You heard of announcements on radio demonstrating how a citizen lost the document, and also costs 5,000 Rwandan francs. So if a citizen can transfer funds on his phone, why can't he get his land document on his phone? We are about to start this online serving of land documents in December, and this document will be official as it will be known everywhere, be it banks and any other institution. The Vice Mayor of the City of Kigali in charge of urbanization and infrastructure, Merad Mabwanamaguru, states that the technology will ease the work. He also states that in December, there will be a week dedicated to services of providing construction licenses. This online document will be beneficial. The time a citizen used to transfer land with another while in front of the notary and sign, all these will be done online. We will be explaining for the citizens how the construction licenses are provided. In that week, they will be given construction licenses, focusing mainly where the physical plans of the city are available. The Land Week in Kigali City was inaugurated in Gikondo, and citizens leave when fully served all land requirements and documents. Prince Manzi, RTV News.
Cross-border traders have expressed that the newly integrated technology they use for business operations is expected to make their ventures more profitable and simultaneously make them easier to monitor and manage. Precious Chirezi.
9 cooperatives in Rubavu district were provided with 150 cell phones and 9 computers to be used for trading between Rwanda and DRC. Recipients of this equipment have pointed out how effective it has been in the smooth running of communication, payments, and monitoring aspects of the business. I am very happy that all our transactions will be digital. Provision of said equipment results from a collaboration between the United Nations Development Programme and Rwanda's Ministry of ICT and Innovation. The Director General of Innovation and Emerging Technologies at the Ministry of ICT and Innovation urges equipment recipients to make efficient use of them, especially because they were purchased with the country's revenue. We trust that they'll be able to attain the digital knowledge necessary to operate the devices and grow their businesses, and they urge cooperative leaders to make sure their peers keep the equipment in good condition and use it productively. Aside from the contribution, cooperatives in this area were also trained on how to conduct trading business conducively. Precious Chirezi, RTV News.
On Monday, book writers and readers celebrated the African Writers' Day. The event was attended by a variety of writers and readers on the continent. Adam Squizera with more.
It's an annual celebration of International African Writers' Day, where some readers say that book authors have had a significant influence on them in terms of learning from what they wrote. Normally, we live because of knowledge, and we get that knowledge through the books. Some Rwandan authors say that they ought to value this day so much, since there are some challenges they still encounter.
Challenges, it is now the publisher houses are still expensive, are still charging high amount of money, and that is why many people are not publishing their books. Some they have their books as drafty, some have their books like an idea in the computers, but to publish it, it is not easy because of that expense.
The head of Writers Association Federation, Hategekimana Richard, stated that there is currently an increase of authors, which he believes will have an impact on reading culture. Let's say that this is our beginning, so we are going to mobilize the citizens to have that reading culture, as we even have those values to achieve that goal. The International African Writers' Day is being celebrated for the first time in Rwanda, and it is expected to be celebrated annually. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
On behalf of the entire news production as well as the technical team that made it happen, many thanks for being with us on this edition of Rwanda Television News. My name is Sam Kalisa. I wish you safe and a productive week ahead. Goodbye.